Hey everyone, I'm Ann. Welcome to the Let's Get Naked podcast, where we dive deep into vulnerability. In this space, we'll explore what triggers us, uncover the patterns holding us back, and discover how to take charge of our own growth. If you're ready to dig in, be vulnerable, and face the tough stuff, then buckle up. It's time to get naked. Let's talk about the one thing batting 1,000, death. 10 out of 10. No exceptions. No VIP list. No platinum membership. And somehow, we're still acting shocked, like toddlers who just found out Santa isn't real. How in the hell are we a society that can debate aliens, argue politics for 6 hours, dissect celebrity drama in forensic detail, but the second someone says the word death, everybody gets tight in the chest, and grown-ass adults start acting like they just got called to the principal's office? It's embarrassing. We will plan weddings down to the napkin fold. We will plan vacations 6 months out. We will plan retirement portfolios with spreadsheets and projections, but plan for the one event that 100% guaranteed? Crickets. And it's not because it's complicated, it's because it's uncomfortable. We have a culture that would rather numb, scroll, distract, and spiritually bypass its way through reality than sit down and say, what happens when I die? What do I want? What does my family need? What unresolved crap am I still carrying? Instead, people die with no will, no directives, no conversations had. And then we dump the emotional and logistical grenade into our kids' laps. That's not love. That's avoidance dressed up as denial. You don't get to call yourself evolved, conscious, spiritual, or emotionally intelligent if you can't talk about your own mortality without squirming. You don't get to preach legacy if you haven't handled your own paperwork. You don't get to say family first if you're leaving them a mess because you didn't have the guts to confront reality. And here's the part no one wants to say out loud. A lot of people aren't scared of dying. They're scared of looking at how they're living. Because once you really let death in the room, once you acknowledge that this ride ends, suddenly your excuses start to look pathetic. Suddenly, that grudge you've been nursing looks small. That dream you keep postponing looks urgent. That relationship you're tolerating looks ridiculous. And that healing you keep avoiding looks necessary. Death clarifies, and instead of using it as the most powerful focusing tool available to us, we treat it like that stack of unopened bills on the kitchen counter. If we don't look at it, maybe it won't exist. Grow up. We are adults, allegedly. Every single one of us is on a countdown clock. We just don't know the number. And yet the majority of the population is walking around like they've got unlimited extensions on a project that has a hard deadline. No one gets out alive. So why are we not having the powerful conversations? Why are we not sitting down with our parents and saying, what do you want? What matters to you? Where are the documents? What stories do you need to tell before you go? Why are we not telling our kids, this is part of life. It's sacred. It's real. It deserves courage. Instead, we shove it in a closet and hope it behaves. Here's the truth. If you refuse to face death, you will live smaller. If you refuse to handle your own emotional and practical business, you will pass the bill to someone else. And if you cannot sit in a conversation about the only guarantee in human existence without falling apart, then there is work to do. Big work. Because maturity isn't about age. It's about your capacity to face reality without flinching. Death is not morbid. It's honest. And if we actually had the backbone to talk about it, openly, directly, without the dramatic music and the whisper voice, we would live differently. We would love louder, forgive faster, plan smarter, waste less time, say the damn thing, do the damn thing. Because when you remember the clock is ticking, you stop playing small. So let's stop acting like children about the one thing that makes this whole experience precious. You don't honor life by pretending death isn't coming. You honor life by looking it dead in the eye and choosing to live fully anyway. Today, I'm stripping it all off with Michael Showalter. Michael is the studio manager at the pod studio that we record the Let's Get Naked at, and the show's producer. He is also a galactic ambassador, and I cannot wait to learn more about this incredible human being. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I do want to just tell the listeners that Michael is also the one that told me that I'm not allowed to use the F word. So if you wanna,
I didn't say not allowed.
I know.
I said,
he's
we're getting flagged, so we just got to turn
I
it down a couple
know
notches.
he's trying
Want to get one out now?
No, no, I better not. I'm going to try to get through this whole one without it.
Okay.
I know. Look, I even wrote myself a note like no F words.
No F words.
Just
no
to
F bombs.
just to try it, just to see what it feels like.
It's all right. Yeah, we could. There's plenty more words we can use.
I know. I'm gonna ask the audience for suggestions on creative ways to use the F word. So somebody had said like flippin', or so we're trying different things.
I like freak.
Freak. Yeah, get your freak on.
Yeah, get your freak on. Freak on a leash.
Tell me what you think about death, because for everyone out there, death to me is a very exciting topic. Only because I think it does make you live differently.
Oh yeah.
I keep death very close in life because I don't live in this world where it's like that couldn't happen to me. It's like, oh, it all could happen to me. Any one of the people that are at my table of life could be taken in an instant.
Yeah.
I could walk in front of a bus and get hit and whatever, and I live accordingly. So the side of my street is clean and in the way that I know how to do it. But what does that mean to you? What does the conversation bring up for you?
Yeah, for sure. I guess first off, like, wonderfully written. You should get on Medium.
Thank you.
Like, I could see that you got a little knack for like streaming that thought into a beautifully displayed, excerpt. And
Thank
so
you.
definitely check out Medium to put all your writings on there.
Okay, thank you.
But so yeah, death. I can't wait to fucking die. I just can't wait to see the other side and see what the celestial spheres that are the truth of what we come from. But the thing is, so like, yeah, I would want to live a good life to make sure I'm happy to die.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely been spots where I'm like, oh, if I die right now, like, this will be pathetic. Of course, I'm going to come back to Earth and try to finish this life in this divine mission, right? So it depends on like what state of being you're in, what state of consciousness, where you're at in life, to see how death affects you. Of course, we're socially conditioned to like really not bring to the forefront, and so it's like not in our sphere of awareness. But there's been moments where I've almost crashed, where I'm like, man, I would have been fucking gone.
Yeah.
Like, and I would have left, my family just like in shambles of like me being gone. And so that really, like, the emotional intelligence, comes to you when you realize how much you affect people, whether you like it or not, how much you influence, bad or good. You still have a part in this world where once that's gone, you're going to feel those repercussions. After the threshold of the physical incarnate death, you might have a different, omniscient soul perspective about it, but still, it puts so much more meaning into this life and everything that we do. And so I like that you have that practice of like keeping death close, because you're making every moment more meaningful.
Yeah.
By every breath, every action, everything that you do. And so, and I think we want that. We want to perpetuate a righteous, like, good, vibrant, healthy life.
Yeah.
Harmonious with divinity.
Yeah. I don't want to just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do because they don't keep death close. It's like, I'm living every day to my fullest. I'm literally sucking the most out of this life because of the fact that you just don't, you're not guaranteed anything. And I'm the same. Like, I'm happy to get to whatever's after this.
Yeah.
There's nothing that scares me about that. It's almost an excitement. Not like I'm, living dangerously or in a way that's going to take me out of it. But also, don't be sad about it. If you're coming to my funeral, say nice things and just understand that I went out on my terms and I'm really happy about it.
I want to party at my funeral.
Exactly. I'm the same.
People to dance, people to like be happy that I transitioned back into the celestial spheres or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, we could go deeper in philosophy of like, death is an illusion. But it's still a real thing in our culture. Like, this physical body is going to deteriorate and be back into cosmic dust. So we got to, I think the human culture has wonderful like ceremonies about that too. And in India, like, death is like actually like in the forefront. Like, it's more welcomed, more like a part of their lives than it is here in the Western world.
Yeah.
And I heard in the Ganges River, like there's like dead bodies floating, and they have ceremonies to burn the bodies, but like it's like pretty crazy what they do over there to how they involve it in their lives.
Yeah. Well, how lovely to just celebrate that, right? Like
Hmm.
death is such a huge part of life. It's like
Yeah.
how do we tuck it under the rug and act like we're not going to talk about it? But I watch grown ass adults get real uncomfortable about stuff and it's like,
Hmm.
are you crazy? Like it's literally the only thing in life that's guaranteed.
Yeah, I agree.
Literally. You
Yeah.
know, my middle daughter's so funny because she always says like, "Mom, 10 out of 10 of us die." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I get it."
Hmm.
But a lot of people just are children about the
Hmm.
concept of that, and that I just can't get my head around.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we all die, and you never know what your number is going to be. Act accordingly. People that are like waiting for something to spark or something to do, whatever. You just lost yesterday. You
Yeah.
won't get it back, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't know how many tomorrows you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
For anyone that's lost someone too young, what is
Hmm.
too young? There isn't too young, right? Lost
Yeah.
someone that we felt like, oh, it didn't get their full 80 years. Well, no one was guaranteed anything, anyways. But
Yeah.
that's just a nice reminder of life is in session right
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
What did you do with your today?
Hmm.
I'm going to live the best day of my life today because that's how I live every single day because I get it now, right? In the
Yeah.
last couple of years of the things that I've unpacked and the things that have, rolled out in front of me,
Hmm.
I get it. I feel like you get it,
Yeah. So let me try to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, please.
Um, so I've known that you did an ayahuasca ceremony.
Yes.
Love that. And there is a moment in my life where I tried to just see how far I could go with ego death.
Ooh.
And so there is, I think there's, certain thresholds in our psyche where, oh, we can have an ego death, like, and we're like anew. And so, and there's been to a point where I think it goes deep in like ayahuasca where like I don't know if I want to say I conquered that fear, but like I couldn't have it's gonna sound weird. I couldn't have any more ego deaths. Or at least I was not like getting something that I was like looking for of like I want to know what's not to not be Michael. And I could only do that with heavy meditation.
Mhm.
But there was like a challenging notion of like being confused of who I am. So it was an identity crisis, but not necessarily an ego death. With your ceremonies in assistance with psychedelics or meditation and practicing, um, have you gone deep enough to where you had the ego death that felt like you were actually gonna die and cease to exist? Because that to me it was very like I had notions of that,
Mhm.
and that is like a full body experience of like I don't want to cease to exist. I don't know what that looks like. There's like a whole like a
It's
process.
like almost like a panic thing?
Yeah, yeah, it's almost like
Okay.
a panic thing. And
I haven't had that with
no,
what it
okay, yeah,
like,
yeah,
I feel like with the ayahuasca that I did 4 years ago, I feel like, God, that did a number on my ego in the best possible way,
right,
because
okay,
I feel like up until that point, whether that was in sobriety or not in sobriety, I feel like I led with my ego,
hmm,
and I spent my entire life with my ego on a very robust diet,
yeah,
of just thinking that the world revolved around me and
uh-huh,
how, just it was my life and everyone was living in it kind of thing. And that changed for me drastically with
hmm,
the first time that I went down to Costa Rica. Uh, and I will say highly recommend
yeah,
because it really brought forward my soul and made me realize we're meant to lead with our soul. Sure,
yeah,
you have to have an ego, right?
hmm,
There's what makes up Anne, what makes up Michael, and
yeah,
those are the things that are like, okay, what does that look like? Um, but that's not what's meant to lead.
hmm,
I don't think.
yeah,
Have
yeah.
you had what you're talking about? I'm guessing where you had that moment of panic where you feel like you're going to cease to exist.
Um, yeah, deep meditation, yeah,
Okay.
and so it wasn't with psychedelics.
Yeah.
And that was the most freakiest part about it, because in the psychedelic realms and ceremony, it's like assisted, you're in a space that was
Hmm.
curated, and I'm very familiar with that space
Hmm.
and know how to navigate it and got confidence in it. But in meditation though, where you slowly start to quiet your mind and slowly, and it's first like you enter the void where it's just like this most delicious quietness that you could
Hmm.
actually finally rest. And then you kind of go a little bit deeper than that, and then you kind of forget you that you're meditating. You're like, oh shit, and like you open up your eyes, like, oh shit, yeah, I'm meditating.
Yeah.
And you like there's deeper parts you kind of go where it's like then like some spooky shit starts happening, which I was never told. Not in like, the traditional sense of just reading the Bible,
Sure.
but more like these books about yoga and raising your kundalini and all these Hindu practices, where it finally made sense to me connecting the dots. Um, I started to hear voices, like, and then like this feeling of like going a little bit deeper to like cease exist, like I like reeled back real quick. I'm like, I can't.
That's too
Oh, that's
far.
fucking Michael Showalter forever. I know. And my ego got real strong. But that's what I started to learn about the ego of like, and I love what Bashar says about this. The ego is just like goggles to know how to navigate this realm of this
Yes.
density. And so we kind of need a social memory complex to navigate this. And I think that's what also kind of like helps influence and perpetuate culture. And so, but then it gets, fanatical. It's like, oh, I'm in charge. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then I think that's when we get stuck in our mind and
Yeah.
not the full body wisdom, constructed with this wisdom, right? And so, but no, yeah, like that's when I started to realize, like, okay, this ego can't necessarily fully die or turn into cosmic dust.
Right.
We need it to socially interact.
You have to have
Yeah.
the
But
piece of it.
healthy and integrated, I think,
Agreed.
is how I learned how to implement it with my soul actions.
You mentioned that you've always been like this,
Mhm.
like just very in tune with,
Yeah. Yeah.
who you are and what we're here for and all of that stuff. What do you
Oh, yeah.
attribute that to? Or was there a point when something clicked for you? Like, tell me about the ingredients that go into making up Michael, because I'm literally fascinated by you.
700 years ago.
So I know, I love it so much.
No, so when I was a kid, I always had sleep paralysis. I was like stuck, paralyzed in my body in the middle of the night. I'm like, and my earliest memory was, I guess I might have got abducted. It was a horrific experience of these two. I don't want to say they're gray aliens, but that was like their silhouette image. Oops, I bumped this.
I know,
Did you
he's in
get that?
trouble. He's been moving his
I
hand
moved
around a
this.
lot,
I
Cole.
get
That's
all
on
getting
him.
me all riled up and excited here. Um, and so that was my earliest memory as a child, and it was just so weird. And then, yeah, just growing up, I'd always like wake up in the middle of the night paralyzed, and sometimes out of my body, actually projecting. And then I finally I would be attracted to these books in Barnes and Noble, the New Age esoteric books. Where I'm like, what is this all about? And I finally came across the book. It was about Robert Peterson about astral projection. And I lit up. I'm like, oh my God, this is explain why I have sleep paralysis. And so that's when I started to mindfully actually practice how to project out of my body. And I guess because I was always kind of doing it, having the sleep paralysis episodes. And and then I got scared and kind of like wanted to be a kid, but it's like diving in the deepest part of the ocean. Like you don't know what's there.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it's an adventure.
It's exciting and scary.
Yeah, and so, but then I kind of grew a little bit older, and then got into girls, and then drugs.
Girls and drugs ruin
Girls, drugs,
everything.
and this human. I'm like, okay, I think I want to be a human kid now and leave this astral projection stuff later. And so, but throughout my whole experience, like every now and then I'll get this sleep paralysis episode.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, well, now I'm meditating now. Now it's like I have it under control. Now it's like my energies have been aligned properly, where I'm like knowing how to use my energetic makeup.
Yeah.
And but there was this really crazy. Well, I guess no, actually, mushrooms really woke me up. I was a sophomore in high school, and just doing drugs and having fun with girls, and I thought like, oh, I love weed. I could smoke so much. Let's go on to the next thing. Let's do mushrooms.
Yeah.
Got a whole big bag of mushrooms. My buddy like had a panic attack. He's like, no, this is too hard for me. I can't do this. I don't know what this is about. And so I ate his batch. This other girl really, she was eating with us. It wasn't affecting her, so I ate like the rest of her batch. It's too much my first time. It just fucking tore me inside out. I'm saying all the F
I
words.
love it. It makes me so happy. I
Yeah.
haven't said it once.
Yeah, okay, it's okay. Cole's got it.
No, Cole,
Entertaining
leave it
those all
full.
those F
Don't you
words.
dare edit
We
that
just
out,
gotta
Cole.
bleep them.
No, no,
We don't want
no.
this taken down, no flag.
Oh, I love it. All right.
But, so yeah, man, so too much mushrooms my first time, sophomore in high school, and I was turned inside out. And they say never look in the mirror, right? I looked right into the mirror.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. Yeah.
And I saw my whole family, and my face was morphing. I was like, "Oh, it's cool, it's fun."
Mm-hmm.
And then I started to like really register like my makeup
Mm-hmm.
of just being part of this cosmos, but this ancestral line of people, and especially that's when I really started to realize like, oh, like I would think about my dad and felt his emotions. I was thinking about my mom, I felt her emotions, and all this trauma that was like just handed off to me. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you realize the weight of that.
And I thought I went insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like my only fear was being insane and staying insane. And I went through it. I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so death. That's why death was not really scary to me, but
Mm-hmm.
like staying insane and not coherent, like that was my biggest fear, and that's what the mushrooms made me learn.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I recalibrated and like finally calmed down, 4 months later, I went back again.
Well, I think you learned so much. I think that you explore the
Mhm.
depths of
So
your
yeah, it was traumatic, but something clicked. We're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this was like the soul journey I've always been like looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, under the wrong conditions and circumstances, but I gave to myself nonetheless. And then that's when I started to look into shamanism, ceremonies, and like, oh, there's this whole world that's still existing in our backyard that people are just not paying attention to because
Mm-hmm.
we're all distracted by social media and news
Yeah,
and
our attention is being robbed from us by all the things,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, that's what kind of like sleep paralysis, but s- with the assistance of plant medicine, helped me wake up of like, okay, there's this life is a little bit more sci-fi than what we're led to believe because we're all socially conditioned to have our attention elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
When we're really living in the moment, it's magic and divine and fun.
Yeah. You know, if for people listening, that what Michael just said, living in the moment is magic. It's fun. It's all of the things. So when you can really get back to living in the moment, being in the
Mhm.
present, not being so worried about all the stupid shit that happened in the past and not worrying about the future, it's like
Mhm.
figure out what sparks you and lean into that,
Yeah.
right? Do you feel
Yeah.
like you've done that over the course of your life? You feel like your energy
Slowly
has.
but surely,
Yeah.
yeah. The more you live this life, you learn, oh, like what your alignment is and what you're not
Mm-hmm.
alignment. You start to, if you're doing the work, mindfully
Mm-hmm.
and with effort, you start to connect the dots of like, okay, I am designed in a certain way to be
Yes.
an expression of the highest echelons of my soul in this physical body.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and I gotta, you gotta look at what you're passionate about and really like see what that resonates with because
Mm-hmm.
once you're excited things kind of like naturally unfurl. Yeah, and sometimes like there's some like hiccups where you're recalibrating your energy and like deconditioning your mind of like, no, I want to dance, I want to sing,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't think you're a good singer or dancer, but that doesn't freaking matter because we're
Absolutely.
part of this orchestration of symphony that's all sound. And so it took me a while to kind of like just like really start to believe in myself, really,
Mm-hmm.
and know my own worth and know my own like little idiosyncrasies of thoughts and expressions. And I guess to get a little bit deeper to that, so I love the occult, this
Mm.
hermetic wisdom, this rich details. I love world religions, but there's something behind all that. There's, I think us me us humans, we put meaning into things,
Yeah.
and that's why I think the I don't want to get too far deep into not conspiracies, but I guess narratives of witchcraft and demonology and like this is good, this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're in expressions of God, the Almighty omniscience of unconditional love, of course you're going to be bestowed with that magic to put meaning into things. And I think that's why there's this huge narrative of like dividing and trying to like dilute that.
Mm-hmm.
And so And so the more I kind of step into like, this exciting path of like, all right, how magical can I freaking get in this
Yeah.
world
How much
and
magic can
show
suck
these
out of it? Yeah.
freaking humans, I get excited and then I kind of shy away, like, oh, I don't want to like outshine people or like
Mm.
belittle them or make them feel like they can't do it. And so I'm still like recalibrating on that. But oh man, so this one time I'm like, I meditated, reached out to the ascended masters because I believe they were trained. They're humans just like us, but they know how to sustain that potent energy of unconditional love, righteousness, and wisdom. And oh man, this is wild. So I prayed up to the ascended masters, like, hey, give me a sign. I'm like in the right direction. I'm doing something right. And you got to be careful what you ask for.
Oh, no doubt.
And so I meditated. Nothing happened. Send that little prayer, into the highest celestial spheres. And then later that night, I got woken up by a praying mantis, and it was huge. And other than that, like car crash, like that was the most terrified I've ever been in my life. It was in my freaking room, and I was like floating in a certain way where like I was like trying to kick it, and then I kicked the wall, and like it transported me back into my room. It was the most crazy experience I've ever had. And I'm not doing drugs at this time, so
Right.
I'm like sober. I'm like, oh, I want to get deep into meditation and raise my kundalini.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I did it again. And then and so that was like, oh man, that is crazy. I cannot deny these visions and these experiences that I'm having. And what's helping is the social media, seeing other people share their experience.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, oh, okay, Michael's he did go off the insanity route and try to put that to coherence, but I've accepted that. But seeing my other people in culture sharing that and be like, no, I'm like having sleep paralysis too. Like, no, I saw aliens, all these orbs and these lights. I think, there's a divine symphony going on that helping us kind of recalibrate to those higher energies to be susceptible to those higher frequencies.
Yeah.
They're always there, they're always existing. And so,
I think like you said, social media and being able to see that other people are also in that same boat, it validates a little bit so that you don't feel like you're crazy. Because same, I have things where I'm like, is this wild what I'm thinking or what I'm
yeah,
doing or what I'm whatever? And it's like, no, it's
yeah,
just not part of the herd,
yeah,
And
yeah,
so when you're doing your own thing and you really realize that there's so much more happening than just what's
yeah.
in the kiddie pool,
Oh yeah.
it is wild.
Yeah, I think we're on the brink of cyberpunk.
What is that?
Cyberpunk, it's like a theme of like this like we're coming into a new age of a different relationship with technology.
Okay.
And it's kind of pretty cool. You should look it up. It's just like another like visual aesthetic appearance of this sci-fi world I think we're coming into. And so technology is definitely a big part of that. And you don't have to be scared of AI. It's like
Yeah.
how you use it,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah, I think we're slowly letting go of these limiting belief systems where we're finally actually living that sci-fi life. And every time I was a kid, like no one told me mythology was a lie, it's fake, myth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I have like I think a very like it's just core signature frequency of like no, myth was part of our history and like
Mm-hmm.
maybe a different time, space, reality where reality this earth wasn't as dense. So it seemed like a little not truthful in our denser reality now.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I love about the Hindu religion. And they talk about these the different ages, and there's a Kali Yuga, and then some other type of yugas. But so our consciousness are coming is up and down of these echelons of densities, and I think now we're just on the upslope of these densities. You know, these limiting belief systems are like being louder to try to get us grounded and stay, but like no, they're not here to stay. We're ascending.
We are.
We're
And
growing.
and when you say that, that brings up for me where it feels like, when you're in a relationship and you don't want to be in the relationship anymore, but the other person really wants you to be, and they cling on really tight. And it's like the more they cling, the more you're like, get the fuck off me. Oh, dang
Yeah,
it. I was
you
gonna
get
make it the whole
oh
show.
man.
Get the frick off me. But that's what you feel like when you're in that type of relationship when someone else is trying to cling to you.
Yeah.
And I literally feel like that's what's happening with like politics and racism and this
Yeah.
money, all the socioeconomic
Yeah.
division and all of these things. It's like, it's literally just trying to cling so hard. And so it's
Yeah.
getting very loud and almost like frantic, I think, because it
Frantic.
feels,
Yep.
that pulling away
Yep.
of, I'm not subscribing to that. Like, you can't convince me that stuff is even real anymore.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
look at politics and the news and
Mhm.
media and,
Yeah.
all of these things, it's like, you guys realize that's not real, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it gets really tricky because I don't intend to like gaslight people. There, sometimes they need that hard experience to actually be in the trenches of that reality.
Sure.
But it's like right here, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And so it's like when you bring it up here, it's like no, there's no division here.
Yeah.
And so it's like in people's household or like, you see what's going on online? Like, no, you're in your household right there now. It doesn't exist right there in that space.
Right.
So unless you want to go protest and get into that reality, yeah,
Mhm.
that might be fun.
You get to be in whatever reality you want it
Yeah.
to be. But yeah, when
Yeah.
people see certain stuff, that's why I think
Yeah.
just news is so dangerous.
Yeah.
Because it's like you have people that are tearing apart families because it's like, well, they believe something differently politically, and it's like you realize both of
Yeah.
you are silly. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not even.
I think we're learning how to stand more in our truth and learning how to be the solution. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to advocate for that. I'm not going to perpetuate that noise.
No.
But once it comes to my sphere, I know how to take my stance. Like, no, I'm
Yeah.
against that. This is how we live in this household.
Absolutely. And then just leaning into that instead of
Mhm.
allowing these like clickbait things
Mhm.
to really get you worked up over stuff that's like,
Yeah.
stop it.
Yeah. So, but I think it's also to help us mature of how to govern ourselves.
Mm.
Like, can we, we have to start to visualize and see and kind of picture like how would we govern ourselves without the government? I mean, totally different reality, but I think we're kind of going that direction where I'm like, it's obviously something's pushing us in a direction where we have to unite as humanity,
Agreed. I couldn't agree with you more.
and our space friends are helping us with that.
Here's the deal. Your life isn't going to magically fix itself. Nobody's coming to save you. But you can learn how to save yourself. That's what this book is. It's a no BS guide to stop outsourcing your happiness, stop making excuses, and start living with purpose. If you're tired of waiting for someday, consider this your wake-up call. Someday is today. Get your copy of the Life Hack Playbook on Amazon or on the podcast website, letsgetnakedpodcast.com. I love that. I love that so much. I'm very, in my journey, I'm very grounded here because I think that that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I think I'm supposed to be shining my light in a way that I don't care if it's palatable to other people or not. I spent a lot of time in my life figuring out how to play smaller to make other people comfortable and realizing that that's not the gig. And I was sent here for something different. When you figure out who you're supposed to be, it's not because you've figured something out. It's that you've come back to what you always have been.
Yeah.
Right. And I truly believe
Yeah.
that. And I came out of the box this way.
Yeah.
Right. This just who you see Anne as,
Yeah.
of being able to just shine light on things, bring things up, have uncomfortable conversations,
Yeah.
live so free that it makes you feel the weight of your own shackles. And so I'm going to do that at full volume because I don't know I don't know another way to do what my mission is. I don't need to convince you to change your beliefs. Believe whatever you want to, but I just want to show you there's a different way. And it does not include being in the trenches with all of this low level, basic bitch, I can say bitch, basic bitch shit that so many people get twisted up. And it's like, that doesn't make anybody feel good. You're literally making yourself sick by consuming that stuff. Knock it off.
And the challenges, which I actually want to ask you, like,
Yeah.
when you came to this, there's a certain part of your life where you kind of become a mentor, and like, I didn't know how to be a mentor. I don't know how to tell people that, you know, all the saturations in your mind is just keeping you dense because they identify with it. And I think what helped me is I moved around a lot. And so I kind of have like a loose identity. I barely identify as Michael Showalter.
Yeah.
Because I've moved so much, and then, my family called me Tim. In the Marine Corps, they called me Showalter. Friends call me Mike. So like these names are changing, and I'm just someone different to someone every time. So I have like a loose identity where I don't really have this grasp on like a culture. I love all culture. It's all like, especially their food. I want to experience it all. But so I think that, one of the issues is we're not taught how we're identifying with these toxic habits, these toxic thoughts. We don't know who we are without certain thoughts that we're constantly streaming in our vessel. And so I think, ceremony, meditation helps with that. Sometimes it's church for other people,
Mm-hmm.
they want to identify with that. It helps, at least it's, a more of a harmonious type of good intentions. But I think we're also with this sci-fi life and technology, we're getting into like, all right, how are we identifying with our habits, our tools, our actions? Because that's our actions are what perpetuate our reality.
Mm-hmm.
But so um, I'm learning how to try to explain that more and what helps for me to help others. But is there a time in your life where you had to become like a mentor? Of course, you're a mother. That's
Mm-hmm.
automatic mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
But other than your kids, have you felt that cross of like, oh, I actually have to lead by example now.
Yeah.
I am uh, a role model, whether I like it or not.
I have felt the weight of that my entire life.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow,
I have
entire
felt the weight
life.
of that my entire life because of the fact that I am this big, bold personality.
Mm,
And so I garner attention from stuff. And so
mm,
maybe I didn't always understand how to use it to the best, but I have
mm-hmm.
felt the weight of that my
I noticed
entire
that in
life.
you.
Yeah.
You're very aware of the attention,
Yeah.
and
It's, it,
you can get intoxicated with it because I know
it,
I definitely do. I get
100%. Like it is intoxicating um, to create and fans is the way I will say that.
yeah.
And I feel like
To create and fans or just already noticing that they're
not
there
even
and
creating them.
coming.
I guess maybe just like feeding that, right? And I
Mhm,
used to do it from a very ego-driven place,
mhm.
and now I do it from a very I understand the impact of what I'm doing,
Yeah, yeah.
and now I use it. It's like I used to use my powers for not good, and now I use my powers for good. But I think part
You
of
learn
that
the hard way is best.
I
Yeah,
did,
I
right?
did the
But I
same.
think that that's part of like the are you leading with your ego or with
Mhm.
your soul?
Yeah.
Because I have always had, the girls, had my daughters had friends growing up, and they always looked up to, um, kind of who I was or what I did because I've lived my entire life as a cannonballer, right?
Mhm,
As somebody who knew I could do whatever it was, and if I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm going to jump first, and I
mhm,
take my own advice.
mhm.
I'm very open about things. I'm very
Yeah.
forthcoming about the, oh, I messed that up or whatever. I don't try to like, oh, don't look there.
Mhm,
It's like, no, 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 my life is messy. It's going to be messy.
mhm,
So I think the ayahuasca and being on this path that I'm on in the last, yes, I got sober 9 years ago and started doing a lot of work, but really ramped up more in the last 4 years where it's
mhm.
the ayahuasca and the other more deep who is Anne at like a really
Yeah.
deeper level.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it is. It's intoxicating to be able to have an impact on other people, and
Mhm.
when you can do it from a place where it's like I know that they're
Yeah.
improving themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with me in that situation. It's just me being a conduit
Yeah.
for a message, right?
Mhm,
And the message is just that there's a different way to do things. I think so many people are stuck in this way of life that they're causing their own suffering and they don't
mhm.
understand that there's a way out, right? It's
Yeah.
like, hey guys, there's a door over here. We can
Mhm.
just walk through it, right? And so I feel like I'm
Yeah,
meant
yeah.
to be
Yeah, yeah.
on this stage to be able to share
Especially after you experience it, right? It's just like,
100%. And you don't have to
you
do it.
don't wanna stay here.
You
It's
don't
so
have
much better on this
right,
side.
exactly. I tell people it's like when you look at people that are, when you say like woo woo or spiritual or like, different than whatever the herd is,
Mhm.
none of those people are trying to get back into the herd. Take that for what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let that be the message that it is,
Mhm.
which is it's way better on this side,
Yeah.
whatever that is. Right now, I think there's a lot of things that get involved in like spiritual elitism, and that's just
Mhm.
another level of the matrix, if
Oh,
you
for
will.
sure.
Right. And so you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
be just open your eyes to that,
Yeah.
but if you just go inwards and focus on you and
Yeah.
what you're, like you said, what sparks you, what you're passionate about,
Yeah.
really developing those things. I just think that that's beautiful. And for me, I think that that always has been the, I am very aware of attention. I am very cognizant of the
Yeah.
impact that that has. Yes, I think I'm using it for a purpose that's
Yeah.
bigger, right? Because it's not like I don't do the things that I do now so that people are looking. I just
Mhm.
am aware that I have that impact and I'm using that as the platform to be able to say,
Yeah.
hey guys, I found the cheat codes for life
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
something that will at least be a gateway to get you on
Mhm.
your own because it's not these things that I'm sharing with people, it's not it's just a tool,
Mhm.
right? When you realize there's not any one of us that's supposed to be this guru or this whatever. It's
Mhm.
like I'm signage and a trail, like a trail
Yeah.
guide or whatever that just says like, yes, keep going further, or this is my
Yeah.
experience to share with other people, because we all have our own. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We're meant to be a ladder of like helping each other.
Yeah.
And so many people pull each other back down because they don't want to see somebody improving. So if you look at like someone that's trying to do better,
Yeah, for
you'll
sure.
literally watch. I
Mhm.
don't know if you've ever seen that like meme where it's the crabs that are pulling the crab back into the bucket, but it's like that's literally what's happening. And you
Mhm.
can watch it. And to me, it just is laughable. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we're supposed to go further. We're supposed to be better. Do you think we're just here to live this 80 years? If you get 80, if you're lucky enough to get 80,
Mhm.
doing the same shitty Groundhog Day
Yeah.
rinse, repeat,
Yeah.
rinse,
Yeah.
lather, repeat, or lather, rinse, repeat, or whatever it is. Do you think that that's the purpose of life, Timmy?
It's interesting because there's needless to say, that I don't like subscribe to any religion.
I appreciate that.
Um, and I appreciate a lot of I think religion's like an artistic expression of how they want to develop a
Mm-hmm.
culture to hone in on divine discipline of the innate divinity that's within us. But our humans' minds still kind of flock to gurus and leaders and worship, which I'm not trying to bastardize or belittle that. I'm just saying I'm like noticing there's a natural, I guess, ecosystem that happens where when someone's fully channeling their soul expression, there's an audience,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just so many gurus. And to me, I the Christians are gonna hate this, but I think Jesus is a guru,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I couldn't really understand him dying for our sins, especially because I never really identified as a sinner in that full Christian concept.
Mm-hmm.
But I do understand if like you follow a guru, he can help you alleviate some of your karma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that's what is Jesus doing to Christians.
Mm-hmm.
So there's much more of a noticing of like, all right, uh, these people know how to alchemize trauma
Mm-hmm.
and depression and what humans are, enduring. And so these gurus do pop up. And I'm not saying like, yeah, there's no more gurus now, especially I think in my Sedona yogis. I have some yogis up there I'd love to yoga with and meditate with, and really like we just philosophize and I really learn stuff from them. And so yeah, even they were saying like, oh, we're in time space reality now where it's not necessarily a student teacher structure anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but more of a collaborative, both learning mutually. And I think that's also just part of our evolution to bring humanity closer. But I have noticed that where I'm like, all right, um, I guess it's like, we see it in nature too. The queen bee has a colony.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that they're praising the queen bee? I'm not sure, but there is
Right.
something going on where there's an ecosystem
Sure.
to be in balance with the rest of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as we're kind of shepherding our minds and souls too in this human consciousness. But I've always kind of noticed, I'm like, all right, there's a whole bunch of gurus, there's a whole bunch of like men and women that channel their soul, and a cascade happens.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where I was going with that,
I
but
don't know where you were either, but what that brought up for me when you said that is yes, and what a beautiful thing. I just think that we've mucked it up with the idolizing those people,
yeah,
right? It's like
yeah, this
yes,
Western culture of
absolutely.
yeah.
It's like yes, and I think religion started out as hey, someone that maybe understood something at a deeper level and
Mhm.
felt compelled to share
Yeah.
whatever that is because you do have this connection with humanity. But the problem is then we put those people on a pedestal, and it's
Mhm.
like that's where we go wrong because
Yeah.
we're all just doing the same
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like I make mistakes every single day,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you can look and say, "Oh, I got a nugget from Ann and whatever," but I'm not any better or any different than anybody else, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
doing what my purpose is. Like I've found my dharma.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in my flow,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and I feel aligned, and it feeds my soul to do what feeds
Yeah, yeah.
the other people that are around me, but that
Mhm.
doesn't make it any better. So it's like when you have these people in religion specifically where it's like, oh, he's so great, and then we worship him. It's like,
Mhm.
no, 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 no. I don't believe God is this guy on a cloud, right? I
Mhm.
believe God lives in every one of us. I think
Yeah.
he's here. I think he's there, right? This
Yeah.
is my church,
Yeah,
right? My journal is my Bible.
yeah.
So I don't need someone else to tell me what they think. I know
Mhm.
what I think. And
Yeah.
so I encourage other people. It's like when people are saying like, get back to God, get back to God. Yes, and he lives in here.
Yeah.
So don't get it
And
twisted
no
about
one's looking in there.
no one's looking in
No
there.
one's
That's the thing that
yeah,
kills me. It's like,
yeah,
hey, y'all, you're carrying
yeah,
it around all the time on your
yeah,
person. Like
yeah.
he's right there. Put the phone down. Put the distractions down. Get
Mhm.
real. Go out in nature.
It's wild.
Oh
It's
my
wild how
God.
it's yeah.
I have a
So many scriptures are like the kingdom of heaven was within
yeah.
you, and then it's
It's
like,
already telling you the
and
map.
some people think meditation is like demonic
I know.
worship. I'm like,
My
what?
mom thinks yoga is the devil, and I'm like, stop it.
Oh
Like,
my
just stop
God!
it.
Like
And
that's
that's fine. Believe whatever you want to believe.
yeah.
But also, all of the answers are in here. We've
Hmm.
been mucked up, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We were born. Think about how you were born. I encourage people to go back to like what sparked your soul when you were younger. What was
yeah.
awe and curious and wonder and all of the things. What direction was that? Get back to doing more of those things, and it literally will lead you on whatever path it's supposed to. And then release all of the muck that life has just put on top of you, because
Yeah.
we all have this trauma that was
Mhm.
passed down to us, or
Mhm.
things that happened to us that we continue to pass down to our kids and whatever. Be willing to fix that stuff, but also be willing to just go back and allow to unfold who you already are. We
Yeah.
already are what we're meant to be,
Mhm.
right? Like I know that. And the more that I walk on this path that I'm on, the more that I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense. Like
Mhm.
things that I remember thinking when I was that age about just the light that I shine,
Mhm.
right? Understanding the attention, understanding all of that stuff.
Mhm.
I'm just going back to who I was already programmed to
Mhm.
be, right? Because I can shoulder that. That I don't come
Yeah.
from this place where I give a shit what other people think or I whatever. Like if I trigger something in you, you're welcome,
Yeah.
right? Like I understand what my mission is supposed to be
Yeah.
on this play, in this human
So in a sense,
experience.
it's not necessarily awakening. It's a
It's a
remembering.
remembering.
It's a
It
remembering
totally
of
is.
who
And
and what you are.
100%, right? I had a breathwork session that was so powerful, and I am absolutely going to use the F word on this one. So get ready for with the bleep button. But I came like during that session, and I have done a lot of work on myself. But I literally came to this point of I remember who the fuck I am,
Yeah.
like in this primal like
Yeah.
way, and it was incredibly powerful. I can't even put words to
Yeah.
it how
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing it was. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
like when you realize that's possible, all you got to do is put down all the distractions and stop letting
Mhm.
them steal your attention,
Mhm.
right? Your energy, your attention, your focus are one of your like those are your most valuable resources.
Yeah.
And you're allowing them to be robbed by noise.
Mhm.
Noise for shit that doesn't matter,
Mhm.
right? We're in a society where we're literally cutting off family members and people that are important to us because they think something different than you.
Mhm.
Hey, newsflash, we're all snowflakes. We all have our own ingredients that make up who we are. We're
Mhm.
never going to align on what we all think. And if we are, you're doing something wrong. Like, I want to sit and talk with you about the things that make you tick and all of the stuff that goes into making you who you are, because I think that's amazing.
Mhm.
And maybe you'll change my mind on something because I get new facts and new something that I'm like, that's fascinating. Or maybe not. And it doesn't matter because we can celebrate what our differences are. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter that you have a completely different opinion about something than I do. Excellent. I frick with your energy hard. I want to know what makes you who you
Mhm.
are, right? Like, what a beautiful thing. Let's lean into more of that instead of yelling into the void at your
Mhm.
neighbor Bill on Instagram about his opinion about
Mhm.
who cares? Oh my God, that's how you want to spend one of your days? This day is a gift. Right? I know you understand
Oh
that. I
yeah.
know because of the fact that you live in the present, that you understand that today is a gift. I will use mine accordingly. It's not lost on me. Every single day that I wake up, I'm like, oh, I get another crack at it, right?
Yeah. On
That's what
that.
I feel
Yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah.
What is you talk about deep meditation? I'm dying to ask you, what is the longest meditation you've ever been in?
Um, I've done like about I think 3 hours.
Oh yeah, that's
I think
good.
3 hours.
When I go do my Thai massages, it's 2 hours and I set my mind on
Yeah.
just it's so great.
Yeah. I tried. Yeah. Every night before I go to bed, I gotta sit down for at
Yeah.
least 15 minutes.
Yeah.
At first it started with 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I just had to build up that habit. It
Mhm.
was hard. Just sit down. Just like we brush our teeth. We made that a habit. We don't think of it no more.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, I just got to make it a little neuron connection habit to sit down and to time myself 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And I'll go to 10 minutes. And then 10 minutes is like
It
long.
felt
And then
forever.
10 minutes is short. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So time starts to get really weird.
Mhm.
And I built up from there. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, this is nice. And of course, when you start doing different techniques, so like focus on the breath, and it's like a muscle where you're like, I really start to utilize my visualization, my imagination, see how much I could stretch my awareness to hear the cracks of the house and the cars
Mm-hmm.
outside and the helicopter and the clouds moving. I can hear clouds
Oh my God, you just made my day.
moving. But so yeah, and then there's this one point where I don't know, I stopped. I was like, no, fuck, it's not doing it. It would like wake me up. It'll like rattle my brain, and I'll be up all night. And like okay, I need like some type of mentorship to know how to uh navigate this energy, or use it wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, your my kundalini was beckoning me. I'm like, hey, let's raise this a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for that, like, yeah, you could be fanatical
Yeah.
and ungrounded.
Yes.
And so, like, all right, I gotta stay with this regiment of the where I'm at in my time space of like work and people, and so you get to like match it where you're at, I guess, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When every type of whatever like spiritual practice or deepening practice you do.
What are things that you have to have in your life to keep Michael grounded? Like meditation, I'm assuming is one of
Um,
them. Or you said you stopped. Not like you
no,
stopped
yeah,
doing that. Just yeah.
yeah.
You
For
stopped.
that time period, I
Mm-hmm.
stopped because it was getting weird,
Yeah.
and then you pick it back up again when I get all aggressive and depressed and moody. I'm like, oh, I'm not meditating. That's
Right.
why.
Right.
Entertaining too many thoughts.
Yeah.
Um, but sleep for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep and creative expression. And I want to do
Mm.
encapsulate creative expression with dancing, with singing, with my guitar, with skits, with producing. Um, so sleep, creative expression, and I mean, I'm so human, so I love a good meal with a little side of mescal. Like I'm
Mm.
a Taurian by nature, a Taurus, so I love like fine dining.
You're a Taurus?
Yeah,
I'm a Taurus too.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah. That's why we
It's a
come
whole
in
thing.
sync so
I
fast.
know. It's
It's
like
like
I
it's like
literally feel like I'm looking into your soul right now.
yeah,
It's really nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
What color is it?
I don't want to talk about that on the. We
Too
should.
naked.
I know
Too
exactly.
naked. Too naked.
Put your shirt back on.
You get higher ratings if I get a little nip slip.
I
Give you
can't
a
say
little
the F word, but Michael's gonna take his shirt
a
off.
little nip slip. You get higher ratings.
This has been a really fun project for me, this whole podcast and the book and the promotion, because I take my own advice. And so when things scare me, I do it anyways. And when things feel right to me, I do it anyways. And so I'm at this place where I am standing on the edge of life with my arms in the air and my balls flapping in the breeze, and doing it at full volume on a stage, right, where people can watch as I stumble and make mistakes, and I don't edit things, and I don't, oh, if I mispronounced a word when I was reading it or stumbled on, I don't care. What the mission of what I'm doing is showing other people do it anyways, right? I'm not ready to do whatever it is that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And yet I feel so compelled to be doing it that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so it's like, where is this going? Where is
Following your highest excitement.
I am, right? I'm
Yeah.
following my highest excitement, and being able to do that and understand, the feedback that I get on the book or on the podcast, or when people say, I was listening to that and that made an impact, or I heard that and it sparked a conversation with my mom and I that got really deep, and we were able to, work through this and that and whatever. That's all. That's my mission. That's all I'm trying to do, right? Is to have, somebody get a nugget of something that makes them be able to get curious in their own lives, because I'm not selling anything other than go inward. That's where the big guy lives. Stop going to the old churches with the creepy old dudes that are touching kids. I mean, I know that they stopped doing that, or maybe I don't know if they did. I don't know if they did,
Isn't
but
that crazy? I'm like,
I was raised in
so
Catholicism, and so that's the one that I ride pretty freaking hard,
yeah,
because it's like, you guys, stop it.
yeah,
What other business do you know that we would let them touch the kids and we would just still keep them
that's
in
ridiculous.
business? I mean,
Yeah.
it's too much.
So I'm like coming to this like new maybe alchemization of this perspective on we're in a spiritual battle.
Okay.
Because I think that's just like maybe a keen wizard's way to keep us fighting. Like there's always a goddamn battle.
Yeah.
And you're always against something. And if you don't question what you're taught to hate, then how do you know if you're even a bad guy or a good guy?
Yeah.
And so I would really like to play with duality right here, especially because I mean, I think we both kind of expressed, uh, we learn the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
we abuse our power. I mean, and I cannot deny that that's not a part of me. Like I am bad.
Yes.
I'm a bad man,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I
but I'm a
get it.
good man.
Yeah, yeah.
That we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, and that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, everything at its point of time, appropriately used. But this whole spiritual battle and this freaking pedophilia is disgusting,
It is
right?
disgusting.
And so, do you believe that we're in a spiritual battle with this cabal or this like overarching um, nemesis to keep us like belittled and perpetuating toxic behavior? Like, is it like a sinister force that's like really trying to draw us away from being harmoniously divine, or do you think it's just like a part of the noise that's just like being incoherent and it's not an actual like intelligent sinister force that's making us do things but our
Right.
own ignorance? What do you think?
God, I don't think I've ever been asked a deeper question in my entire life, and I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I 1000% am going to explore that in my Thai massage this afternoon. Because
Mhm,
that's excellent. Like I
mhm.
believe in the noise. I believe in the
Yeah,
noise. I
yeah.
believe that there is an infinite amount of noise that is
Mhm.
meant to distract people
Yeah.
from really going inward, because it evokes so much emotion, and then we
Mhm.
have such an like an elementary EQ level in
For
this
sure, sure.
society, I think, that it's like taking candy from a baby,
Mhm.
but I don't know what like the deeper meaning behind all of that, or where I
Yeah.
feel like that stems from is. What do you think? What's the answer to that question from you?
Um, I'm still trying to figure that out right
Okay,
now,
I like
and
it.
I do want to just like alchemize like spiritual battle is stupid because that's
Mhm.
just a rudimentary human concept of always fighting for something. Now, I'm not
Yeah,
saying don't fight for what you believe in. You definitely
sure.
take your stance, and especially in the law of polarity, we need contrast to know where you stand. We need
Hmm.
contrast to know the difference. We would not know good if we didn't have the bad. We would
Right.
not know the darkness, with the light. And so there's a complementary um, duality
Hmm.
that we need, especially in this dense dimension, helps us move and have this human life.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not sure. Now, a lot of these scriptures do say there is, these Nephilim, the Agigi, the Sumerian kings list, these heroes of renown, and this whole like narrative of like the Anunnaki that first came here and then actually made us. And I kind of like that concept because when I read the Bible, I didn't believe when the snake gave the apple to Eve, like, and the snake was the devil. Like that's just a surface level rudimentary perspective on that.
Yeah.
And then God punishes Adam and Eve for having knowledge of good and evil. Like that doesn't sound
Doesn't
that
sound like a
doesn't
god
sound
I would
like a
worship.
god. That's
Yeah.
like a deity. So
Hmm.
I'm loving this, and it's weird because I've always like knew about this and read it in my esoteric books, but now seeing a whole, maybe it's just my algorithm feeding that continuously to
I
me.
love it.
I'm seeing other people also like have these other perspectives of like, oh, there's a lot more. And my favorite guy, his name is Matt LaCroix. Um, he's a geological researcher of these monuments in these ancient megalithic sites, and I like his like extrapolation about it. But anyways, yeah, they came from space. They're a little nefarious, but not necessarily spiritually like a good or bad thing. It's just like um, a human just looking out for himself that does not is more self-serving than serving the community
Hmm.
type of thing as an entity or an existence. So so I'm still trying to figure it out, but I think subscribing to like this nefarious, sinister thing maybe gives it power where it
Yeah.
might be true for some people experiencing that reality, but you can easily like just have that thought go away and be in divine harmony of what we're already constructed with.
Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff, when you start talking about, okay, is it this way or that way or whatever, I think a lot of that is still in the cage.
Hmm.
Is that kind of how I visualize that. And so I don't mess around with a lot of that,
Yeah.
because I think any of that where it's, I don't want to have limiting beliefs. I don't even want to have beliefs.
Yeah.
Like I don't give a shit what you
So,
think. I don't even care what I think.
my one of my favorite books was the Lemurian Scrolls,
What
and
is it called?
the Lemurian Scrolls.
Okay.
It's a really great book where you've heard of Atlantis.
Yes.
Well, like around the same time, there's Lemurians that came, and but this book is amazing because it's these light beings that came from the sun. Now, so think of this, there's a flock of elephants, there's a flock of everything in nature. We see like a flock of birds.
Sure.
They're like in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So these light beings are like that, but they came to Earth to kind of have an individual experience because they knew the Earth was going to densify and they're going to actually, they were like vibrations of light, they're rays of light. And so they didn't have an individuality that we do now. So I think they came to Earth also with a divine, feminine like mission. But I thought that was like the most amazing and resonating concept of like, oh, of course, if we're celestial light beings in the ethers in the higher dimensions, we want to have an individual experience. And I think that's why we kind of get intoxicated with our own attention because like
Yes.
I never got to have an individual human before. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get to be a character that could sing and dance and experience this life. And so I think that is also another, I think, missing point of our human consciousness to kind of like grow and evolve to remember that we wanted to become an individual, but then kind of like with the AI code running away, it went rampant.
Yeah.
And now we got this toxic behavior. It's like, well, you come back to divine source,
Right.
you're still part of that.
Right.
So I think
Just
there's something, a parallel
remembering
going
that.
on.
Yeah. Being reminded of that is an excellent
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for coming and sharing and for using more F words than I did
That's
today.
fine. That's
I know we
fine.
ran out of time,
Yeah.
and so we're gonna get in trouble. But and get in trouble by whom? Again, it's
Yeah.
great when it's. I love that. You're such a troublemaker. All right.
I really have been.
All right, that's our time for today. If you have questions, suggestions, or think you have a story to add and want to be on the podcast, send us an email. Our email address is ladies@letsgetnakedpodcast.com, and then do all the things to support the pod and the Life Hack Playbook, and rate, review, share, all of the things, and we'll catch you next time. That's a wrap.